Bluetooth is pretty much the de facto way for listening to music on your mobile phones at this point. But if you ask me, it's a protocol that is far from perfect. There are several things that annoy me about Bluetooth. See, unlike the headphone jack, if you want to use your headphones with another device, you gotta unpair, then pair it again, which is a bit of a hassle, not gonna lie. You gotta deal with Bluetooth latency, which I mean is fine if you're just watching YouTubes and movies maybe, but if you're gaming, then it's a huge problem. And guess what? Even if your earphones support something like, aptX, if your phone maybe doesn't support it because, I don't know, maybe it uses a MediaTek chip, it's not a Qualcomm phone, then yeah, aptX likely isn't going to work because both devices need support for the protocol for it to work. Okay. Yes. Now we get into why these pair of earbuds are special. So if you do not know who Hecate is, she's either the Greek god of witchcraft, the moon and magic, a character in the anime Shakugan no Shana, or in this case Edifier's line of gamer-focused audio products. This is the Edifier Hecate GT4S. Now, usually with products like these, they aren't really all that exciting, at least for me, but there is actually one big feature that I really like about these guys. It comes with a USB dongle for you to use them wirelessly. Yep, you don't need to go through the cumbersome pairing process, which you probably need to do every single time you want to use your earbuds with a different device, as it is really as easy as just plugging the dongle into whatever device you're using, like, I don't know, your phone, your laptop, your Nintendo Switch, your PlayStation, or maybe even your PC that doesn't have Bluetooth. Now, you might be wondering why I mentioned phones and Nintendo Switches, even though this dongle clearly has a Type A head, and that's because the USB-C part of it is hidden in the dongle. I mean, this concept isn't exactly new. Logitech has their Zone True wireless earbuds, HyperX has their Cloud Mix Buds, Anker's sub-brand Soundcore has their VRP10, and there's this newly launched JBL Quantum and Quantum Air. But of course, what makes the Edifier Hecate GT4S different is its price point, because as you know, I'm a really big fan of finding bang for your buck products, and the GT4S is definitely the cheapest of the bunch at only about $40, making it cheaper than the Soundcore at half the cost, and the Quantum's 3 times cheaper than the HyperX, and a whopping 7.5 times cheaper than the Logitech Zone True wireless. And for those of you who do not know your audio products, Edifier has long been in the market, delivering some really high quality products without the equally high price tag. In fact, I've been using these same Edifier speakers on my desktop computer for more than a decade now at this point, the Edifier C3s, and I absolutely love them. Now, some of those competitors are also just USB-C, whereas this is both USB-A and C, which means added versatility, and that is always a plus in my books. Other things included in the box is, of course, a Type-C charging cable, a manual like this one, and some different sized silicone ear tips for, your different ear canal sizes. Before we move on though, I want to just quickly mention that you shouldn't confuse the GT4 and the GT4S, mainly because the GT4 is the more normal TWS earbuds model, whereas the GT4S is the one that also comes with the USB wireless dongle. So, the case. To be honest, a very different looking case compared to the other TWS earbuds that I've seen and reviewed, but I'm not against it. You get a Hecate logo up top, and when you open it up, of course, lights up RGB because it's a gaming earbud, and we all know that when you add RGB, it makes the audio sound better. Don't ask me how. The earbuds also have lights on each earbuds, but you can turn that on or off to save some battery as well. Typical specs, these guys connect using Bluetooth 5.2. Each earbud houses a 10mm dynamic driver and has a IP55 water and dust resistance rating. So they're pretty alright in terms of comfort, and they're pretty light as well at 83 grams per earbud, but I mean, they're still not the most comfortable pair of earbuds that I have, and I think that's just because the cap is just a little bit too short for my liking. I mean, the edges kind of dig into my ears a little bit, and while they're pretty in there for normal use, the moment that I kind of flick my head around like this and flex my face muscles, they just come right off quite easily. I also had to use the largest sized tips though, because apparently my ear canals aren't that small, but after a while I just changed them over to these pair of silicone ear tips from Acoustune that I find more comfortable and have a better seal, at least for my ears. The GT4S also has another interesting detail about it. You know how almost all of the best gaming mice use PixArt sensors for that flawless tracking? Yeah, these guys use a gaming focused audio chip from PixArt, the PAU190X. Edifier or Hecate claim that when you're using these earbuds in dongle mode, this chip allows you to get 3 times lower audio latency, going from 45 milliseconds down to 15 milliseconds, which should make them a lot better than Bluetooth and great for gaming. You basically tap the left earbud 3 times to toggle between the modes, and there will be a prompt that tells you what mode it's in, although it's in Chinese. Though, regardless of whether you're using them in dongle or Bluetooth mode, the combination of Edifier's H+ sound tuning together with their PixArt chip together apparently allows you to have great positional audio. Just like switching between the Bluetooth and dongle mode, this time you triple tap the right earbud and it will cycle between music listening mode and game mode. Now, to be honest, while they say that music mode is better for, well, I don't know, listening to music, I find myself liking game mode much better because it gives the audio more trebles, tighter bass, and to boot, spatial audio actually sounds great. So yeah, I actually just keep these guys in game mode. These are by far the best sounding pair of TWS earbuds that I've used. Now, granted, I haven't really used and tested all that many, but of the ones that I've tested, these pretty much for me win hands down, as they just sound crisper, clearer with sufficient and nice bass. The game mode gives it a very good spatial quality, and you know, I've always been somewhat of a fan of Edifier products, and I'm glad that these earphones don't disappoint. Now, the real reason why I got these though is for VR. See, I recently got myself a Pico 4 VR headset, and like most VR headsets, it doesn't have a 3.5mm headphone jack. You know, I could use a wired headphone with USB-C, you know, to just plug into this, but I find it a bit cumbersome, and I'm not a fan of dealing with cables when, you know, I'm flopping all over the place when I'm doing my movements in VR. You know, trust me, I've tried, and while I could of course just use Bluetooth, the latency that I was getting on it was seriously pretty bad and a pain in the butt, honestly, because I would have to, you know, make sure that my Bluetooth headphones, earphones are connected to the headset, faff around on which device it's connected to. Yeah, the GT4S solves all of these problems for me. All I pretty much need to do is plug in the USB-C dongle into the headset, like so, triple tap the left earbud if it isn't already in dongle mode, and that is pretty much it. I don't need to mess around with Bluetooth pairing and whatnot, and the much more lower latency is noticeable and so much better than hearing delayed audio. They sound great, and most importantly, they're comfortable and stay in my ears pretty well, which has definitely allowed me to enjoy my VR sessions a lot more. Now, being a pair of wireless TWS earbuds, you could of course also take calls with them. And this is what you would sound like if you were on the other side. Look, I'll admit that I'm probably not the best judge of mic quality for TWS earbuds because I am just spoiled by proper condenser microphones. But I mean, if I was just hearing myself on the other side of a phone call, I would think that I could hear myself without any problems. So yeah, they sound fine. But yeah, they're definitely not the star of the show. Now on to battery life. Edifier, or Hecate as it were, claims an up to 26 hour of playback time, which is made of 6.5 hours per charge and 3 full charges from the case. I took these guys with me to my recent trip to Vietnam, and during that time, I did about maybe 3 to 4 hours or so daily for 6 days before the batteries went flat, including the case. So, I mean, while it's not quite their battery claims, I'm not complaining. So, should you buy these? Honestly, I really like them. They're the best sounding pair of earbuds that I have at the moment. One that actually has a good amount of bass and treble with nice sound stages, and yeah, I guess it doesn't have fancy features like, you know, ANC and whatnot, and honestly, I don't really care because I don't do calls that often, because to me, its main feature of just being able to be used via USB is such a huge advantage for me that I just don't care that it doesn't come with ANC. So yes, I recommend these, but I think that its biggest problem is that you probably can't buy one, or at least not exactly these ones. See, the GT4 is quite readily available, aka the model which does not have USB support, but if you want the ones that I have, then at the moment the only place that I can really find them easily and readily is on Taobao from China, and I think that's a hurdle in and of itself. Still, if you do manage to get your hands onto one of these, I really don't think that you'll be disappointed, especially since it really doesn't cost too much as well. In fact, I lent these very pairs of earbuds to my brother for his gym sessions, and he absolutely loved them over his pair of expensive Sony in-ears that he asked me to help buy him a pair of them. Wait, a pair of these. Yeah. So that should just give you a bit of a feel of just how awesome these pairs of earbuds are. These pairs? This pair? Anyway, that's pretty much it for me for this video. Do the usual YouTube stuff. If you liked it, comment down below and share it if you found it useful, or you know, if you don't feel like it at all, that's fine. I'm still gonna thank you for making it all the way this far into my video. My name is Yang the Tech Rodent, and that's another gem found. Let's see if we can find some more. I'll see you guys in the next video. I was supposed to put this into the box, but I missed.